Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about areas of circles, which means there is another formula we got to work on. The area of a circle is always, area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. So in other words, we're going to be looking for radius, no matter whether we get radius or diameter. And here we get diameter, here we have a radius. So we'll be having an example of both. So find the area of the circle. The A is talking obviously about this guy, so let's work on that. Area of the circle is going to be equal to pi times our radius squared. Well, our radius is 7. So we're going to plug that in, and then we're going to square it. A couple of things that we are going to notate. We're going to start talking about notation in pi, or what an answer should be. Next thing that I want to be able to make sure that I bring up is the idea that we are going to be using calculators a lot from now on. So what I'm going to try to do is keep one on camera here so you can see and watch what I do. Now, pi, let me actually move this just for a second. We have this as a formula, but here is a constant. Pi is what's known as a constant variable. Now, it's about 3.14. As a matter of fact, it's 3.14159, blah, 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 blah. I can never stop, which means, oh boy, I don't want to write all that. So we tend to estimate to 2 decimal places. By the way, this is why Mr. Speeds likes 2 decimal places. Now, since we substituted 7 in, we can do the same thing for pi and put 3.14 here. Now, when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and solve 7 squared, because if we think of our order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, E is for exponents. It's the second thing we do. We do what's inside the parentheses. Well, there's nothing to do inside, so then we move on to exponents. So that's 7 squared, which is 7 times 7. And then we have 3.14 times 7 times 7. Now, again, I could read this left to right, but order of multiplication doesn't matter. So that's the same thing as saying 3.14 times 49, because that's easier. I don't have to reach over and touch my calculator 20 times. I just want to do it once, because now I have 3.14 times 49. I'm going to get 153.86. Now, up until I put in 3.14, up as long as I kept pi, this actually should have, and let me correct myself, and I did that on purpose, by the way. These are actually about or approximately 2, because as soon as we replace pi with 3.14, we aren't dealing with pi, we're dealing with a number very close to it. So what this tells us is the area of our circle is about 153.86 centimeters squared, because again, we're dealing with area, so it's always got to be squared here on the unit. All right, here's what happens when we don't have a radius. Down here we have a diameter. We have to realize that a diameter is the longest line through the circle, and we need the shorter line. So that means our radius is here, or half, which means our radius is 13. So now that we have our radius, I'm going to put this guy up here, and I'm going to do the same thing. The area of our circle is going to be equal to pi. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and write the 3.14. I'm just going to write it all out, times 13 times 13. So all I did was skip the first step here and went straight to this. 3.14 times 169, because 13 times 13 is 169. I haven't had to touch my calculator yet. Look at me go. Now 3.14 times 169 is going to be equal 530.66. So what that means, again, I guess I should have done this before. That one I didn't do on purpose, but look, I can go back and correct it, because mistakes are just wonderful. What this means is our area is about 530.66 inches squared. Now, make sure you take any notes, write them down, and write down any questions that you have while listening to this. Go back, listen to it, rewind it, do what you need to. Work on some of the problems from 7.3.1. If you do that tonight, or you can do that tomorrow when you come into class. And remember, as always, it's more important to understand than it is to get an answer. Thank you.